Look at this. I was trying to adjust this, but I was like, man, this is ridiculous. This is supposed to be the sunrise. This is the sunrise here. It's coming up. It's only 6, but this is what the light looks like. It's this weird white light. It hurts your eyes so bad to look at it. But it's fake as fuck, man. Like, that is ridiculous. That is... So, anyways, I was trying to adjust the thing. And I was like, what in the hell with that weird light going through like that? So, anyways, there's kind of a bunch of things I wanted to say. One of the things was I had seen this girl just, she was crying. She was really upset. And she said that, I think she works in a nursing home. It sounded like when things first start going down. And she was feeling so horrible. Oh my gosh, so much shame and guilt and stuff because how they restricted those people and they wouldn't let them live their lives. She was just like, oh, she was just devastated. Like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I was telling people they just couldn't live the way they wanted. And oh, she was really going through it. And that is what is going to happen on all individual people. Whatever it was that they did or whatever, it is going to come up in such a really deep way. Like, and the universe is going to make sure, it's going to play things out. So you have to face it. And if you can ignore it the first time, it will just come up again and again and again and get stronger and stronger and stronger until you've got nothing but that's all you can hear in your head on repeat until you face it. And facing it is the best thing. I mean, we all have different things we're here facing. What I was really noticing yesterday I had such a good day. Oh my God, I had the best day. And it was, but I was thinking so much about stuff. And one of the things is I was like, everybody's playing out different things. Everybody's here playing out different things as their soul. And I was like, so many souls are playing out fear. So many in all different ways. But it is crazy, especially as you see some of the people who have been really stuck now starting to go, put another little toe in and starting to expand their stuff. And when you're so scared, each thing is like, oh my God, it's another horror, another horror, another horror. And so it's a lot to take in. But the biggest thing of all things is you cannot die before your time. That is what I mean. And death isn't real. And this place isn't real. I mean, so much of what people try and figure out is trying to do it all on the idea that we're flesh and blood and this place is real. I mean, there's a guy in the sky, like all this stuff, like, but it isn't. It's the same as being in a dream. Just like when you go into a dream and it is so real. Oh my God, that was so real. I can't believe how real that dream was. That's what this is. This is when we wake up from this is the same thing. Man, that was so real. I can't believe. Why didn't I understand that? Why didn't I see that? I saw this reincarnation, one of those people who does the QHHT. And she didn't really know a lot about reincarnation. And so she's just kind of learning. That's the thing, is there's a lot of people who go into this stuff and don't know anything about this stuff. But so she does the things, but she said one of the things that is so interesting that she has learned about reincarnation while she's been doing this is that sometimes a soul, there's no... you can take one lesson, one thing you're here to learn. Like, even if you took fear, it would still have subcategories of what each soul is here to experience and learn. And it bumpers off of other experiences. And that's why it's all so unique. But she was saying the thing that surprised her is sometimes how many lives that somebody will go through for one lesson. Like they'll just go back and have to keep getting the same lesson. But you don't do the same life. That's what I was saying. Is like where these people are like, oh, I was a witch before, now I'm a witch again. You don't do that normally. Like, I mean, I can't say never. It's just not something that you hear. But I guess if there are, I don't know, it's very strange. Like, that's all I can say. People can go do those, look into reincarnation for themselves. I've been looking into it for a long, long time. And I sure haven't seen anything about where you come back and do the same life. You come back to learn the same lesson, but you learn it in a different role. So that you just try them in all different roles. But like I had said, when I had done my granddaughter's past life regression, and she went through 3 lives real quick when she was talking to me, and all of them were the same lesson. And I know it's the lesson that she's here learning right now. And so that was just amazing to me. I was just like, whoa, because she has this, I mean, she's really, really beautiful girl. Stunning, you know, like, she's like 6 foot, blonde, has her face looks like a filter face, just natural. And she's very stunning. And she's learning about that value. What value does that hold? And so it is a lot to learn. You know, people look at people and think like, oh my God, they're so beautiful, they've just got it made. No, there's a lot of lessons that you're learning about the value of things, about, you know, your priorities and stuff. And so you learn the hard side of those kinds of lessons so that you can get the impact. So, you know, you go through a lot of people using you and not valuing you. Just, you know, you're a pretty face. You don't really have much to say. There's a whole bunch of different things to go through and learn. And in the other lives that she was telling me about, it was crazy because she had one where she had this family. She was totally cut off from the family. Nobody was very close to each other, but they had tons and tons of money. In all these different ones, she was beautiful, she had tons of money, and she kept being selfish. And so she was trying to learn. Those are the lessons. That is what you're trying to learn, and you keep going in to do them again. It's not like because your soul is like, oh, hell yeah, I was a selfish motherfucker in that one. No, you go and you do your review and you're like, oh my gosh, look at how I treated this person. Look how I made them feel. I don't want, you know, and you see where you put things out of balance. You don't want to make people feel like shit. You don't want to make people doubt themselves and feel bad about themselves. And so, anyways, it's a lot of lessons and it is very interesting. But I thought that was really cool when she was saying that. Because she has said she has seen people go in and have 50 different lives on the same ass lesson. And so they're complicated lessons. They're hard, but it isn't like we put pressure on ourselves. It's not like we have to make an A the first time. We're just experiencing. And the experience is challenging. It's rough, you know. It's hard in this dimension, in this heavy is a density to this place so that you can feel more stuff. Because the more you go up in frequency, the less you can feel. That is like... from what I understand, like Palladians, they do an energy swap. They don't have like intercourse like humans. Humans can do those kinds of things because we can feel them on a different kind of level. Like when you go up, like there's something I'm pretty sure, I don't know. Because at one time when I was driving and they showed me that it would feel just the same. They said you're not even going to feel the difference of what you feel like for this and what you'll feel like in the other way. Like the crystalline body or whatever, if it's the light body or something. And then what I kept being curious about is that, like, you know, will we be able to touch and feel all the kind of stuff like we do now? Or is that only like a benefit of the density here? Although we have to go through all of the hard parts of the density. So I don't know. I don't know what, our future. I mean, we're going into the age of love, so I would think we're going to be able to do some love making. I don't know. Hopefully, we're going to be able to feel stuff. But that is what I have heard, is that in the higher densities, they don't have sex like this. And that is one thing, is why we were so like yucky animals when they were making us in the beginning. And you got to remember, this is their avatars. Like, they're created and it's all just, it's so weird, because when you talk about it, it is like talking about it in flesh and blood and stuff, but it isn't. But we are a creation, and we are a creation of the universe for experience. In the density gives the more experiences, more challenging experiences and stuff. The higher the higher vibration beings don't go through the same kind of low density stuff. Like, it's very challenging to come and do this, but there's a whole reason, there's a whole purpose to the whole thing. And I don't know, I keep seeing all these people now talking about the reincarnation recycle. There's so many people who see reincarnation as imprisonment. Like, they've been imprisoned here. They're going against. They didn't want to come here. They didn't want to do this. But your soul can't be forced. They can do the same thing with this manipulation as they do here. But when you cross over, you still have some sort of, you still have a sense, but there is the confusion, because people think they can't die. So when they go over, they get confused. And I know that they do monitor these other realms. And so wherever it is, your soul goes right away. I just don't know, but I sure see a lot of fear about it. And people being freaked out. You got to get out of this reincarnation recycle, and don't go to the light. Let's see. No, you want to stay in the void. If you go to the light, then they will convince you need to go back and do it again. And I don't know, though, because all the things, when you go in and you do like the near-death experience books and read all of those different ones, and you go in and read all of different things about reincarnation, and because people have been getting like their reincarnation stuff for a long time, in spiritual and meditation, and before the hypnosis stuff. And but the hypnosis stuff has shown so much more. But to me, every single time I ever hear, the soul is totally involved. And it's not like we're it's like we're just an expression. We're just an expression of energy that comes out to, like, whenever they show me, I can see it so well, and I can understand it, but I know it doesn't sound like it makes as much sense. But that whole thing where they show me, it's kind of like when those people blow those big giant bubbles, and it's that giant bubble, and it's out in the air, and it's changing shapes and moving and changing colors and all that stuff. That is like our energy. And then it is it shows like this pushing out of the energy, and it taking all of that. So you're pushing out from the bubble, but you're taking the bubble with you in order to, and it just goes into a form. It just goes into a thing. But see, in this reality, though, you have to be birthed in. You have to go through another being to come into this reality. And I don't know if it would be like that in all the realities. I mean, that isn't even the same really with an egg, is it? Because an egg is an entryway, is a portal, but it is also, it's more independent than, when the egg comes out of the bird and is sitting there, it still has to be fertilized, and it still has to be incubated. So it has to be cared for and tended. but it isn't the same as it being inside of somebody and then having to go through this process of birthing it into the reality. And people just don't realize how that's an extension of self. It's not just your child, it's an extension of self. And when that self comes out to play out the role, that is to help you both learn from the role and to help the other ones ahead and behind. And so it is it's so crazy because how they show me like these expressions coming out of these things, but it is also the bubble when it expresses out. The bubble, like the higher self, is witness to it, but it's almost like witness from the inside as it expresses out. It's not on the outside, it's on the inside. It expresses out to understand itself, but it's like it's seeing itself from the inside. And but then you have these eyes to see yourself from the outside. But this is where the confusion starts to become, because people become dependent on their outer sight instead of on their inner sight. They bypass their inner sight in order to witness. But it is it's a clarity of an understanding in order to understand it itself. And it's so weird because, you can see, people don't understand themselves. They don't understand this place. They don't understand what they're doing here. And there's so much arguing, man, about what this place is, what we're doing here. It's very interesting. We're going to see how things play out. We're going to see, it's kind of like we're all throwing our balls to the truth. We're all throwing our balls in, but somebody's balls are going to be close. I feel like my balls are close because, I'm not making this shit up. It's being told to me. And yesterday, oh my gosh, there was something that was told to me that was like so profound. I was just like, oh my God. And so I wrote it down real quick on my grocery list. And the stuff, like, they just nonstop talking. I swear to God. They're just constantly talking, just like as if you had somebody there who just never shuts up. And so whatever it was something about, it was so profound. I was so like, whoa. And as I was writing, it was something about, if it was just for me to understand at that moment, and I was like, okay, well, then I guess I won't find this later. And the list will be gone. And so then later I got home and I wanted to do a video and talk about it. Go through the list is gone. I was like, what the hell? Man, it was so trippy. So yesterday I went and did a bunch of errands. One of the things too is I was talking to some guy and he was heading back to Arizona and he was trying to hurry and get back before the Title 42 because that's supposed to go on the 11th. And that is, so apparently that is just opening the borders more. Like, I thought they were already open. I don't even know. But anyways, it's concerning, I guess. He was like, I got to hurry and get home. Like, if they're worried, people, he lived in Scottsdale. And he said, it's so bad. You wouldn't even believe. Well, I would believe because I see the footage. I see the videos. It's mental. She's doing so much better. I can't even believe it. I think that boron is really starting to make a difference now. Yesterday, she's so strong. And she's gotten so motherfucking cocky. Oh my God. Now she wants to go out all the time. She'll just go out there and sit like she's having a little fit until I go take her for a walk. She gets so excited. We go out and start walking. She's just looking for trouble. She's just looking for a cat to chase. She's looking for someone walking their dog to run up to. And she's just like, oh my. And there's always this statue. Someone has a little statue of a donkey out in their front yard. Every motherfucking time. I am like, girl, you know that is not a dog. And it's the same routine every time. She starts sniffing, she tries to lunge at it. It's so ridiculous. But so she's getting cockier, so I know she's feeling good. And she's getting really cocky. Yesterday, 2 cars, a fucking truck and a Jeep, or one was a car. I don't know. They were big. I'm pretty sure one was a big old truck. It might have even been pulling something. And she starts trying to lunge and jump at the truck. I'm trying to yank her back, and now she's like super strong too. Like, oh my God, she's gotten so much stronger. And then a Jeep came, she goes running off, like trying to pull to go. And our street's not that big. It's not like we're on a main street or people are driving fast or anything. But it's just like, oh my God, you're getting like a psycho out here. But she's really feeling good. She's really being super cocky. Yesterday, she hadn't eaten for 2 days. And yesterday, so when I went to the store, I went to a few different stores. And so I bought some whole chickens. And I baked one last night. Oh my gosh, she loved that. And so she ate a ton of that. And so and then this morning, as soon as she got up, 4 o'clock in the morning, she's already eaten her breakfast. So I think she's just doing really good. And I'm not stressing anymore over the days that she doesn't eat like I was. And I went and I started looking up more of the treats and really try to find some that were more. I always spend a lot. That's why I spend a lot on her food. I always try and buy really quality stuff. I feed her real meat, all of that stuff, so I know trying to have a healthy dog on a budget is hard. This is so sad because I just saw this. You could tell it was a Saint Bernard mix. It had the jowls, but it has a little bit different face than a Mastiff. And it was solid white, which from what I understand, any solid white albino animal will have more medical issues anyways. But I know that these shitty breeders, man. And it was yesterday I was thinking about with her and just thinking about like those breeders, just thinking about, there was a lot of drama that went on when I got her. A whole lot between these 2 different breeders, because I had gone first to the breeder that I had gotten Lucy from. So I was going to get one of Lucy's sisters, only from a different litter. And so I had her picked out and everything. And then that breeder, she was just wackadoodly-doo, man. She would just let people come in and stuff, bring their dogs when these puppies were just born and they got kettle cough. And so then a bunch of them died, and she had them all in the vet, and she needed money. I even gave a bunch of money to go ahead and pay for my dog so that she could get the vet stuff covered. And then the one that was supposed to be mine died. I was supposed to get the first female pick no matter what, but she gave it to somebody else. And then I started thinking, man, this is shady. I wish I would have known more. But then when I went over, because it was also when I went over to see the puppies, and I'm sitting there with my mom and we're looking at the puppy, you got to think like I'm devastated at this point. I hadn't been that long since I had lost Lucy, only a couple months. So I was raw, man. And when we went in there and the breeder lady started talking about the litter that Lucy had come from, all those puppies had died except for 3. They were in the womb all that time, and then when they were birthed, there was only 3 living ones. And so once the vet found that out, because they did an autopsy and everything on Lucy, once they found that out, they said that was it. That was what killed her. She should have probably had some, I don't know what all, treatments. But that is just the snaky shit that goes on with these fucking breeders. And I see so many horrible stories of just horrible stuff that is going on with all these different dogs. This woman, they had gotten this beautiful big old white looking Saint Bernard,
and it was her best friends with her daughter, who her daughter's really young, who grew up with the dog. And the dog's only 3, but I think they got her when the little girl was like 3, and now she's 6, and the dog has been attached to her. And then the dog got sick and started having seizures, which that runs in. There's a lot more stories with the breeder stuff, but that would be too long. I'm not doing a whole thing on the breeding thing, because there was a whole bunch of stuff that went on with Stella, and the woman sent me to another breeder, and then there was, oh my God, there was so much drama, and I had no idea with all of the bullshit stuff with breeders then. But so these people, their dog had a seizure, so they went in. It was in a long seizure. It just kept seizing. So they took her to the vet, and they said, I can't remember. They put her on a shit ton of medicine, sent her home, and put her on a shit ton of prednisone. And then the woman had pictures, and it showed that the dog's stomach was real bloated. She said the dog just eat and eat and eat and eat and drink, 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 drink. They even got her liver swollen. They were going off of the prednisone, weaning down. She got to the last day, and she started having a temperature that night, and her vet appointment was in the morning. So they were like, well, she's going to the vet in the morning. We'll see what's going on. And but it was her last day of the prednisone. And then so the husband took her to the vet in the morning, and she had sepsis, and it had eaten through her bowel, and she was dying. And so there was nothing they could do. She was dying. So the prednisone killed her. The woman went through the whole thing, and the treatment that the vet did killed her. And see, that's what, and even when I was doing that with Stella, man, and I could tell, like, when I would put the pharmaceuticals in her thing, she would turn like, she did not want them. She made it clear she didn't want them. And I would do everything I could, sneak them in, do everything I could, because I didn't know what to do, especially, I was doing the hemp and when did I start the RSO? I think the RSO I've only been doing a couple of years, but if she had been doing the hemp stuff, I'd been making the hemp treats and stuff for forever, for a long, long time. So then when she was doing so bad, and then they said she needed to be on all those pharmaceuticals, she's the end stage of hip dysplasia and arthritis, and she needs to be on these things or she's gonna be miserable, and they damage the liver and stuff like that. So they put her on gabapentin, which is so much stuff coming out about that now. And that was one that I was on for a long time. And now I know why in court they kept trying to say it was all those drugs that gave me the brain injury, because all these fucking drugs cause brain injuries. But mine happened like overnight. I mean, mine happened at the surgery. So it wasn't the drugs, but they find loopholes. But anyways, which thing was I telling now? Now I got off if I was telling about that other dog. But because the drugs they put Stella, and then and then the anti-inflammatory they said could give liver damage. And so one of the mornings when she was having such a hard time with the drugs, and I called and I was like, I gotta get off the drugs. But I had several conversations with the vets and about the drugs and the whole thing. And they just push and push. And even at one point, the vet lady on the phone person told me, if you're not going to put her on pharmaceuticals, there's no reason for you to come here. And it was just like, what the hell? And I'm paying $1,000 for this shit. So that is when I was like, you're on your own, man. And that proves it right there. Them going and putting that on prednisone and like that, and then that being what kills it. You cannot trust these people. And that's what I tried to tell my daughter when she was putting PD on chemo. This is right after his last treatment. And then he died. And Stella is still going. And I know she's had some major shit. And I'm doing it all through plant medicine and using food as medicine. Like really thinking about what she's eating and stuff like that. Except for the treats. Like I do give her treats. But that is like the... you know, that's kind of the, you know, I don't know when she's going to go. When I'm not going to just make her lie. I mean, I want her to have fun too, like have some treats. So I don't know. But to me is all of these different medicines, like for all these different people. Like there is a video that is viral. It's been for a while though, as I've seen it for a while. But this woman, and I'm sure you can't say this word, so I'm going to say it in a weird way because it's REM and then it has a desvir. And so it's that word. And when they were doing the protocols, because the protocol was to murder, it wasn't to save, it was to do the opposite. And so that is what I was talking about like a while ago, is that they just made a protocol. So anybody comes in with this symptom, as soon as they do the test, and the tests were all fake positives anyways, then they had a protocol. Well, this is a direct protocol we're going to follow. And it was all done as, it was also corrupt. It was like done on purpose to have the effect that they got. And it was all through administrators and stuff like that. So the people on the floor just have to do the protocol, what you're told to do, because the hospital, this is how it's paid, this is what the insurance pays, this is how you do it. And then, but the stuff they were using was making people die. So, and the woman who does that video, she's just so angry. And she's real up close to the thing, and she's kind of yelling into the thing, you know, did you hear about this? Did you hear about this? And so, you know, there's going to be a lot more people speaking out about, you know, the medical is what is killing them. The medical is what is doing. And I just saw this lady, she just went and bought, what was the product? Hummus, I think. I think she said, it sounded like she said she got chocolate hummus at Walmart, which I didn't even, so I don't know. It sounded like she said hummus though, but it has some new chemical that was added to it now, and it's called NICIN, I think. And so she was like, went and looked it up, and it assists tumors to grow faster. So see, that is what they're putting in this stuff, is to promote viruses and stuff to start growing, and then put this stuff to accelerate it in our food. That's why we have so many people getting sick. It has nothing to do with these sicknesses. And I'll tell you what's wackadoodly do too is, so yesterday I had such a good day. But when I went to the grocery store, and I got so much good stuff at the grocery store. I was really excited about my stuff at the grocery store. And just the stuff that they kept telling me, you know, because, I don't know. I was very much being like, you know, like, oh, I shouldn't get this, I shouldn't get that. And it was very much like, you know, you got to quit thinking like that. You got to start thinking, you know, just get what you need and stop thinking about like, oh, you got to hold yourself back. Just get in that focus of what you need and stuff like that. So that's what I mean. They're constantly telling me things as I'm doing stuff. And so I got all my stuff, you know, and then when I went up to pay, so the one woman at the register who was doing the ringing it up, she had one of these on. And then the girl who was boxing it, she didn't have one on. And so then once I got up to that part, you know, and she's still ringing because I did get a lot of stuff. And then the girl that doesn't have one on, she starts talking about these things and kind of saying, I don't know, it's like, well, there's no reason to wear them anymore. You don't have to wear them. Nobody has to wear them. It's a choice if you choose to wear them, but it's already, nobody has to wear them. Like, she's just going on and on. And I've never wore one, and I'm not going to wear one. And, you know, and the woman who's standing there is, you know, so I was just like, yeah, well, you know, I've heard a lot of stuff now that they have caused problems or whatever. And so I just asked the lady, have you had any problems or something? And she goes, well, I only wear it when I'm here. And you know, you can't you can't get, I mean, the news told them, they programmed them. You can't unprogram them. They have to do it for themselves. I just sound crazy if I start telling them things. So I just said, the one girl, the one who was bagging the stuff, who kept saying stuff, she goes, oh, well, I already have had 2, no, 3. No, I've had 4. I had 4. And so I'm not worried. Oh, fuck, man. Fuck. And the woman who has one of these on, I don't think she has any of these. I think that was kind of the like, well, you wouldn't have to wear it if you just go do this. And so this woman's like, but she looked kind of like a smoker, yeah, kind of a smaller, kind of grayish, kind of, you just tell when someone smokes a lot. And I think, I'm not going to say there's something wrong with smoking, because I think there's benefits. I think there's benefits to nicotine and tobacco, but it's the abuse. It's, you know, I mean, it's one thing if you smoke, you know, 1, 2, 3 cigarettes a day even. It's when people start getting up to smoking a pack and a half a pack that they're, anything you do that gets out of control, you always got to find balance. But there's no thing, well, I mean, there's some things if you are interfering with another soul's journey, and that is anything that interferes with children, that is interfering. But on another scale, when we don't have to think about that business, that is a nonstop in this reality with the weirdo shit. But it with the I gotta think of what I was. I gotta think back what I was talking about. And I just keep seeing those 2 ladies at the register, and the one being sickly. But you just, to me, you got to find balance. Like, I don't think, especially things that grow from the ground, there's a benefit, but you can't abuse the benefit. You have to, you know, like, I think it was something when they would pass around those peace pipes and stuff, you know, there was ceremonial, they're smoking and stuff. They didn't just walk around smoking. But then you see some old person like in the Appalachian Mountains or something smoking out of their corncob pipe or something. So there's a lot of smoking, but it wasn't just like, there's too much convenience. There's too much consumption. And that was one thing too, even when I went, because I felt really shitty. I really wanted to give the bed away that I had. I didn't want to take it to the dump. I wanted somebody to get a benefit from it. And, you know, it just, when you go to the dump, it's just such a consumption. Even the videos I've seen down at the border where they're showing all of the garbage that is left there. It's like, this is what our world is become. You know, it's just so much, take stuff and throw it down. Who cares? I'm done with that. You know, it's an attitude, man. So I try not to just be like, just throw stuff away. You know, I try and be, you know, is there another use for it or whatever? And so with the bed, though, people don't want used beds, and I guess they want some couches, but there's a thing, I think, because of the bed bug situation, which I was thinking, I bet you they motherfucking created that shit. Because then, look at how, you know, it makes us have to buy more stuff because nobody wants to reuse stuff because of not infiltration, infestation. So, yeah, it's that's that issue. And then, what was that? But going to the dump and just seeing all that stuff. But man, it felt good to just get that out of my car, get it gone. And it felt like a relief to let it go. And then and then I went to the grocery store. I don't know if I'm skipping around now. Then I went to the grocery store, but after that I went to the thrift store. And that was just like, oh my gosh. It was, they did go up in the prices though, and that irritated me. I was like, what the hell? You guys think you're a Goodwill now or something? Goodwill is ridiculous. I've seen so many thrifters talking about the price increases, and it's so ridiculous. They get this shit for free, then they mark it up to, you can go to fucking clearance at Target and get shit cheaper than you can at the Goodwill. And so this was a church thrift store in Linden, and I always loved it. And it was so cheap. Like, you could totally go in and get stuff for $3 still. No, now they marked it way up. So, but I did get a bunch of stuff, and I was so excited. When you go and find stuff, that it feels like you get a treasure. And it is like, but it was so trippy as I was going through there, and they're talking to me. And then they would be telling me something, and then they would just stop me. And then right where they would stop me, I would turn and look, and there would be a thing right there. And they were just doing that all over the place. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it was kind of like I was becoming, like, I felt kind of like scattered in my thinking. Like, that was louder, like the directing me or something. Like, I couldn't hear over that. But you know what, I think that they were kind of like overriding, because the voice that I was you know I wasn't focusing on it. The one that, it was kind of like I was going through, it was the same thing at the grocery store. Oh man, am I going to spend too much? Oh man, do I really need this? Oh, am I being frivolous? Oh, doing that kind of thing. And then they would keep telling me, no, like, you have to get out of that mindset. You have to stop thinking in that kind of way of lack. It's a way of thinking. And so, so they were giving me that kind of thing to see and to understand. And so, that doesn't mean like every week. It's just like they have certain times that they teach you and show you and tell you things to make it more impactful. But that's why it's important to be paying attention to that communication rather than just the focus on the other, because you're getting taught lessons. And if you're paying attention to the lessons, then it can keep you from having to repeat something 50 fucking times. Like, doing it over and over and over. So, yeah, there's a benefit to listening to the guides and stuff. I mean, they're trying to help you. And it's so crazy, too, is that how everybody's stuff is so unique with their lessons. It was something yesterday. I don't remember what it was, but it really, really stood out to me about that. Like, how unique from the time you're born, the things that happen, the people you interact with, everything that happens is for you. It's for your experience. It's for your growth. And it's totally unique to somebody else, even if there's similarities, with time and space and, like experience, like before when I was talking about with Debbie, like both of us, and there's lots of people, have had teenage parents, but each person's experience is unique, because even if you have that thing in common, there's so many other, what is that? Alternate, like I see it like it's like a science thing. So you put all of these different, it is like, man, what is that word? Is like each thing can have a different outcome. So you play out all these different things to see what the outcomes are. And that is like what science is supposed to be all about. So that is kind of like what we're doing as reincarnating, is to see all the different ways something can play out. So even if you have similarities, you change one thing, it changes everything. You change one thing, it changes everything. And so we have all these different things playing out so that we can try and experience as much as possible. And But then we all come back together, you know, and when we don't stay inside of our own form and we go back to the whole connection, like we're all connected. This was interesting. I thought this was really interesting. This is, so this guy, I saw this video yesterday and he was talking about, he was talking about a different video, but how interesting it is and how he was so surprised. And it is that sharks, because we know how sharks can smell blood, you know, like a drip of blood 100,000 miles away or something insane, of how they can smell blood in the ocean and be able to hone in on it and find it. And that humans can smell rain hours beforehand, but some people can smell it. I don't remember, because the guy said that, I don't remember if it was minutes or hours, but some people can smell it up to hours away. I can smell rain for sure, and I can smell it way before it comes. And but that all but it's different in the amount of time. So some people you could smell it not days ahead. Like you'd have to look up all the facts. I'm pretty sure it was hours or minutes. But so some people can smell like 5 hours ahead, and that is real significant. Whatever it is, the longest stretch is really significant. And then the other one is still so incredible, even the shortest amount of time. And that's what that guy was talking about, was, God damn. Sometimes too, I feel like it's something with the frequency, because it will like turn up, and then it will like, you start feeling it hurt in your chest and lungs, like you feel a pressure or something. Oh yeah, and I saw this other thing too. This was a couple days ago, but I forgot. And this girl had quit smoking weed, and this was a young girl. So see, there's a lot of people who start smoking weed when they were younger and they just abused it. The same thing as like people who, you know, smoke too many cigarettes. Anything you do that, especially if you use it as a distraction or something, to distract you from your pain or anxiety, because that's what a lot of people use it, just like alcohol, but it's not as toxic as alcohol. But so tons and tons of younger people were using it like that, and so part of their awakening has been to let go of it, to get control, and to stop smoking. Lots of them go on to hiatuses of a period of time, or just try and stop altogether. But so this girl, she was saying she had stopped about, it seems like maybe it was like a month or something. It hadn't been very long that she had stopped, and maybe it was a couple months. But anyways, it was not very long, and then she got sick with the Dovik. And so then she was like, oh my gosh, I had heard that smoking would keep it from getting sick. And then as soon as I stopped, within a couple weeks, here I am completely sick with this. And anyways, the coughing is what made me think of it, is because I swear to God, there's something with the coughing. You want to have this gunk going in there and getting a hold of the stuff. Like I said, it's like a carrier. Before I had said like about the mucus being a carrier in your lungs to cough and to carry that stuff out, to get rid of some of it. But then I had seen that they were using the mucus as a carrier also to get stuff in, because it was certain things. Oh, because certain things promote mucus. And mucus, if you get too much of it, makes you sick. So there's something that they're trying to do to promote mucus, I think. I don't know all of this stuff with I know that, like, with the, if you have, like, the viruses or bacteria or whatever, I don't even know all this shit that they're putting on us, but whatever the toxin, you're breathing it in, you get that shit in your lungs, and it's sitting in there looking for something to attach and grow to. And then you're smoking and you're putting in all these bigger, heavier molecules that attach and go around it and kind of imprison it. And then you cough, and then you cough it out so it can't implant in there. And so I think that it's something like that, how because it's supposedly the same thing with tobacco too. So, and to me, so it's something about the smoking and the bigger molecules, and then the coughing and getting the stuff out. Because I know that the coughing is super important, because I learned that in the hospital. That's why so many old people get pneumonia and stuff. And they get it because they stop exercising, stop taking care of themselves, and then their chest, their muscles get too weak. And so they can't cough good, they can't take in deep breaths. And so then they just breathe really shallow. So then they collect a bunch of junk down in their lungs, and it sits in there just like what I'm saying, and it starts growing, attaching, and getting, toxins. What is that? Because a big one that they usually get is that they'll get bacteria in there and get bacterial pneumonia. But that stuff is to have a gentle exit, to, just go out in a gentle way. You've gone through your life. And so it's not traumatic, even though so many people go through trauma with loss, but that is because of their own relationships with the people and their own guilt, or in a lot of cases, it seems dependent. Like a lot of people, it seems that they're losing people that they have a dependency on. That kind of like the other person pulls the rug out from under them and passes, so that the person who's left behind has to regain their composure as a sovereign individual being. And that's what all this is about. It's all about this growth. It's all about this ascension. And you got to remember, this growth thing that we're going through is the bridge to the new age. But the new age, everybody can come back. So it's not like you're going to, lose people. And you can communicate with these people once you start understanding, you're a spiritual being. They're around you. They're talking to you. You can call them into you. Like all of those different things. I just saw an interesting thing too, something about dogs, and if they're passing, it is something about when that they're there for you when you pass. It's like they are they're there to meet you. So when you go, that they're there with you. So I don't know. I don't even know why that just popped in. Thinking about that, but I had just heard somebody talking about that. So, I don't know, but if your dogs and stuff are dying, it's the same thing. These aren't, a fucking spider has a soul. Goddamn leaf has a soul. Every fucking thing is the same. Everything is energy. Oh, yesterday too, as I was driving back and I saw a field, and there was tons and tons of little tiny trees in it. I was like, we can build everything back. We can get everything back to being nice. It's not going to be in some of the places is going to be like dumps of debris and stuff. Like, I still think I think New York is going to go underwater. I think it's not going to be just like the West Coast. So some of the, big buildings and stuff, they'll be underwater. That would be interesting too, because I bet you that would be, if things were underwater like that, I bet there would be a lot of people who'd want to go scuba diving and go in old buildings that were there before. It's kind of funny too, because it's like it becomes more interesting for it to be underwater and go in than when it has no water and you can go in. and look around the building, with people, but then you think about it being underwater and all of a sudden it becomes a really adventure. And I think there'll be a lot of people who'll be interested in going, and who knows, maybe it'll be dangerous and it would be something like that. It's not a good idea. I don't know. I mean, we as beings are going to become more tuned in, and we're not going to be so, where there's just kind of an ignorance about us, that is all going to go away. We're going to become a lot more tuned into our reality and each other. And, this is a really cool expansion that is happening. And, it's kind of a bummer. A lot of people don't realize, and they just get hung up on what they're scared of, and they think that's why it's happening. It's happening because of this. It's happening because of that. And all these different things. But it's really that they're just talking about what they're scared of. Because everything that is happening is really good. And there's so many people with the money thing that are so... it is crazy how many people still don't get, they think it is the banks. Well, if we just move our money and we'll get in this bank, if we get our money out and we hide it, we'll be fine. It's nuts, but those are the lessons. And I could go in and all day long sit there and tell them, and I've tried before to tell people things, and they don't hear it. They got to see it for themselves. So, they'll find out. Another thing too is, and then I'm going to go, is, when you hear people like the girl who was crying because she worked at the nursing home, and then she saw how much they restricted these people in their last, she felt horrible. She was just so upset. And it's kind of like a shame or something. And to me, that is how I feel about these implants on my chest. They are. It's so funny because when my kids were telling me before, and they would tell me Mom, those don't fit you. You look like you're gonna tip over or something. It doesn't fit you. I would just be oh, I don't know what my attitude was. I have no idea. But I wasn't seeing it right. And my last husband, he really got me more questioning me, why would you do that? I don't understand why you would do that. And that, and had been so uncomfortable. They're so uncomfortable. Don't let anybody tell you that they're comfortable. They're not comfortable at all. And they do what they want. And so I was now when I look back at it, and I can see I had, valid insecurities. I was just going single, and from what was that, Mad Magazine or something, they'd always have that grandma who would, was it Mad Magazine? Because this seems like it was pervy, because it would have that old lady and her boobs were always hanging down. And so that's how I kept seeing myself. I was oh my gosh, I'm just going to look like this old lady, my boobs hanging down. And so that was my insecurities. And then I had, this insecure friend who was sitting there telling me, oh yeah, you look horrible. You got to get him. I'm just, when I even go back and play that stuff back, it's just oh my God. But now when I sit and look, it's just oh my gosh, they do not fit my body whatsoever. I cannot believe I let myself be put to sleep and let some man decide what he thought looked right on me. And, the whole thing, until I get in the med bed and get them dissolved out of me, it's to the point now where I even feel God, I just want to go get them cut out of me. I just want them out. And then plus thinking about the toxins and the discomfort, all of the whole thing, where it's just oh my God, I want these things out of me. Yeah, where I got to call myself okay, just stop thinking about it. There's nothing you can do until the time is right, and the time happens, just the same as with my house. There's certain things in our lives right now that there's nothing you can do. And you can sit and drive yourself crazy, just sitting there going oh my God, about the food. There's nothing we can eat that's not poison. And so you can drive yourself crazy, but there's really, that's all you're doing is driving yourself crazy. We're going through this for a reason. And then once we're done going through it, everything will change. But I'm telling you, soon as anybody who even hears anything about, oh yeah, I heard there's a med bed, I'm talking about the real ones though, where you go in and it puts your cells back 25 years, not the ones, and it grows parts back, it'll grow back my teeth that got broken, all of those different things. It will, I can't believe how much malpractice has been done to me. Seriously. I've had so much malpractice stuff. Like, I didn't even know there was dentist malpractice. Anything that can go wrong, believe it, I'll find it. Like that. I think that's been my role in this world. But anyways, as soon as that med bed comes, man, I am fucking jumping in there. I'm not at all going to be scared or intimidated. As soon as I can get an appointment, I want in. And then I cannot wait to get those things out. And I think I am going to just get all of the ink removed. I would think it does it automatically. But the toxins and stuff, like, it was really... when I did that hair laser removal thing, and was just... And I wasn't doing it like where I see these girls and they're just... It's like, what? Like, I do it 2 times and it's like a burn. And when I was doing all my legs and I went over, because you gotta go over the tattoo, and it felt like the tattoo started on fire. I was like, what the fuck is in my skin? So, I just want those med beds to hurry up and come, and I want those fucking collapse to hurry up and come so I can get some shit done. What I really, really want is the unveiling of my future. Like, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see where it is I'm supposed to be landing. And, yeah, man, I can't wait. I just want things to speed up. And, we have no control over time. We have no control over when or where or how things are going to happen. The whole thing is just about learning to keep yourself calm and stay present in the moment and realize that you have lessons going on and they are telling you things all the time. So just listen to what they're saying and things will make more sense. So anyways, I will talk to you later. Was that all the stuff I was going to say? So I was trying to think of all of the TikTok things I was seeing. I swear to God, sometimes it's just like the same thing over and over and over. And then all these people who just waking up, just figuring stuff out, or they've been awake, but they just now start figuring this other part out. And so much stuff about religion coming up. It's all the different groups are going to continue to fracture. There's so much drama stuff with the LGBTQ things still, like so much stuff, like with the people who are involved in it. It's the same with religion, the medical, it's gonna fall, all of it's gonna fall apart. So anyways, I can't wait until we get there. So let's just stay positive. And there's no telling, I think, because this is the 10th. So tomorrow, the rest of this week is supposed to be significant. So we'll just see how things go. But if the 12th is Friday, let's just, another Friday, please. It's always that Friday where it's just like, oh, okay, hopefully. And I'll go on and see, and try and see if other people are having problems with ATMs or banks or anything like that. And there seems to be like nothing being said about that right now. But it's that Sunday. It's once it gets to Sunday where it's like, okay, are we going to get an alarm? We're going to get held into our houses now? It's like, please. But then like these weird planes going over that sound like they're about to crash. And it's like, man, anything can happen. I mean, they could fucking start dropping missiles on us. Like, anything can happen. So I just wish it would hurry up. And anyways, we'll just see how it goes. And so I'll talk to you later. Bye.